Hello, class of 2020. My name is Keontae Holder, a Judson High School graduate. And today, I just want to share a few words of encouragement with you. First off, I just wanted to say, I graduated. Whoop whoop, Judson Rockets. Now, although it wasn't the traditional way, I graduated. It was a virtual graduation, but we still made the most out of it. Prom. A lot of you may not have had the chance to have a prom. Well, we had prom. I mean, it wasn't the prom where, you get all dressed up, you heading over in your limo and your fly car to the prom, you with your girl or your guy, and you dance and have a good time. But it was a parade prom. I guess what I'm trying to say is that you can learn to make the most out of the moments, even in the darkest times. You have to learn to persevere. Everyone has been affected by COVID-19. Everyone. But even through that time, we have to learn to make the most out of everything that we've been given. We cannot give up. We have to be a light in this time of darkness. Community, family, and friends have to learn to come together. We have to be strongly rooted in God and understand that He has His own plan for us. COVID-19, He has a plan for us to persevere through it. We have to rip up our expectations that we've had. All of the graduates, we have to rip up those expectations. All the hard work that we put in. Yes, we put in all the hard work, but maybe it wasn't meant to have the traditional graduation. Maybe it was meant for us to have the graduation that the way we had to do it. Maybe it was meant to teach the class of 2020 to be innovators, to move, to push, and address new changes. It's time to throw away the old traditions and create new ones. I feel like that's the plan that God has for us. We have to be innovative. We have to be lights. In the darkest times, we have to make the most out of them. We are the class of 2020. Everyone out there is looking at us and seeing, oh man, I feel so bad for them. They're going through such a tough time. No, scratch it, cut it. We are in a great place. We just have to make it. My Judson High School, like I said, we had a graduation. We had a prom parade. We had a parade today. It was the best time of my life, even though it wasn't the traditional way. So at the end of the day, I just want to say, persevere, be innovative, and even in what may seem like the worst times, there's always a shed of light. Class of 2020, congratulations, we made it. Let's turn up!
Hello, I am Dr. Keisha Walton, a dual enrollment economics instructor for Edward Waters College and Sandalwood High School. I would like to thank Shell Robinson and her husband, Dr. Michael Robinson, founders of Forest of the Rain Productions, for selecting me to introduce the 2020 e-convocation and e-commencement speakers. Starting in 2013, Forest of the Rain Productions has selected one of America's leading educators to deliver the e-commencement address to a nation of graduates. In 2018, Forest of the Rain Productions introduced Miss Kelly Fair as their first ever e-convocation speaker. These powerful messages of advice, challenges, and inspiration have served as the launching pad for young scholars to take on their next adventures full steam ahead. 2020 has been one for the record book. We witnessed educators and students display their resilience as they were forced to pivot on a dime to completely change the way they taught and learned. These remarkable educators and students did not need an act of Congress to move to action. They simply applied their love of learning and their passion for teaching to create a continuity of learning for millions of students across this nation. I am proud to be a part of this historic moment in a world of education, a moment in which the invisible foe struck at the fabric of our nation, but through faith, might, and love, we will prevail. The class of 2020, you are America strong, and you have done us proud. Here tonight to share her words of wisdom and inspiration is Dr. Erica Buchanan Riviera and her life's mission to ensure that schools reflect safe and brave spaces that value diversity. Dr. Buchanan Riviera is known for her work as a teacher, assistant principal, and principal of an international magnet school, and as a director of curriculum prior to her current role as a chief equity and inclusion officer of a K through 12 district in Indiana. Dr. Buchanan Riviera will deliver this year's e-convocation message to a nation of graduates.
Greetings, graduates. My name is Dr. Erica Buchanan Rivera. I am an educator who has served in the field for 13 years as a teacher, principal, director of curriculum, adjunct professor at Butler University, and currently I serve as a chief equity and inclusion officer of a school district in Indiana. I am thrilled to spend time with you during these challenging moments within our country. You probably did not anticipate a pandemic or stay-at-home orders when thinking about your senior year, but you are here. You made it. I applaud you. I commend you. And today, we will all celebrate you for this outstanding accomplishment. Over the last few weeks, I have been thinking about the best message to deliver today, especially after seeing former President Obama's speech. Let's just say that is a tough act to follow. And when I typically struggle to find inspiration and need lighthearted directions, I turn to my 3-year-old who believes she has all the right answers. While eating dinner, I asked my daughter, "What do you think mommy should talk about for a commencement speech?" Her immediate response in true toddler form was, "You should talk about monsters." We laughed for a moment, and it was probably the best thing she said after a long day of remote learning. However, after prepping her for bed and reflecting on the dinner conversation, I realized this child of mine may have been on to something. Although in her mind, she was probably replaying scenes from one of her favorite Disney Pixar movie, Monsters, Inc., the ideology of monsters is something we all face in our living experiences. Unlike Sully and Mike Wazowski, the monsters in our lives do not have to be tangible. They can be subtle. They can cause harm and overshadow our humanity. My monsters were evident in my school experience. As a child of color, I operated in predominantly white spaces. The only student of color within most of my classes, on the soccer field, on the basketball court, you name the place, and I could not see myself reflected. I learned early on that it did not matter how well I performed or how eloquently I spoke. Some people would not see or value my authenticity. Although the people responsible for my care knew nothing about my family, aspirations, beliefs, they defined my character by my identity. From those who could not see my magic, I was the Black girl who was bused from a community that varied from her white peers into a private school. A person who was unworthy and needed to be grateful for the opportunity. A person who needed to learn school culture and leave my own at the door. Throughout our journey in life, we discover the aspects of our humanity that make us whole. We develop interests, define our values, and eventually learn how to walk into our purpose. Yet, our pathway may also encompass monsters in the form of hate, self-doubt, and other forms of oppression that serve as a hindrance to our progress. As we strive to lift ourselves up, the world and its news headlines and tragedies have a way of tearing us down, and perhaps assigns qualities to our identity that draw us further away from how we view ourselves. So, how do we begin to dismantle these monsters, these invisible forces that rob us from meeting and seeing our full potential? First, we must get proximate and close to our own humanity and acknowledge what makes us feel visible. We must engage in identity work, a process of deeply knowing ourselves, our standards, beliefs, and strengths. We must recognize the monsters that cause us to distrust ourselves and our instincts, the monsters that do not allow us to see our worth. As a student, I did not trust the power of my voice during my school years, while functioning in spaces that did not give me the opportunity to be heard. Some of the monsters we face will try to make us feel invisible or dim our light. They will say you're not good enough or that you're out of your league. Yet know that you are exactly where you need to be. Do not allow those who fail to affirm your gifts define who you are. Your contributions are desired, and this world needs you to persevere. Dissociate yourself from deficit thinking, replacing all words of doubt with the phrase, "What if?" Think of possibilities and maintain hope while strategically creating a roadmap to reach your goals. Importantly, embrace the journey, knowing that you'll reach challenges and continue to encounter unforeseen monsters with an optimistic mentality. But never lose sight of who you are and what you are capable of achieving. We not only have to get proximate or close to our humanity, but we must learn how to value the humanity of others. Human connections, especially during this time within a pandemic, are powerful. And we learn much about ourselves through our interactions with others. Our survival is contingent upon cultural connectivity, working with diverse people who may not reflect our backgrounds or lived experiences. However, biases and the stories we create from social conditioning tend to tell us who we should remember in this world as well as who should be forgotten. And there are many other forms of monsters that harm the way we see each other, honor each other, value each other. Monsters including racism, sexism, homophobia, Islamophobia, xenophobia. All of these factors and more divide us and do not allow us to see a world where liberation exists. As graduates, you will lead in different capacities. Many of you will continue on with your education, while others will step into a career. Yet, no matter what you do, you'll be in positions to learn and work with other human beings. Collectively, we have a responsibility to take care of our humanity, to take care of each other. We have a responsibility to act, to be inclusive, to recognize that whatever mission you become a part of, it's bigger than yourself. It's about community and sustainability, creating an economy where people thrive. Activist and scholar Angela Davis once said, "You have to act as if it were possible to radically transform the world, and you have to do it all the time." You have potential to be the change you want to see. Your voice and actions can contribute to the creation of a just society. And while you're on the quest of creating a just society, a place where people thrive, it is also important to find others who can help you grow and hold you accountable. We all need accountability partners, people we can learn from, and a critical mass to help move our efforts of changing the world forward. And while dreaming and thinking about the future and endless possibilities, we must also be critical examiners of what we see and what we consume. If our country's founding principles of freedom and liberty were constructed by slave owners, what other things, parts of history, or information should we be questioning and evaluating with a critical lens? Never allow invisible forces to stop you from wondering and seeking out multiple perspectives. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Education without social action is a one-sided value because it has no true power potential. Social action without education is a weak expression of pure energy. Deeds uninformed by educated thought can take false directions. When we go into action and confront our adversaries, we must be armed with knowledge." I do not know the monsters that have existed in your life, the forms of your monsters, whether a person or a thing, or the ones that will come over time. However, I do know that if you hold on true to your values and who you are, lift up others as you continue to climb, and think critically about the world around you, you will surpass all adversaries and challenges. The work of creating a just world is generational work. And today, I'm passing on the virtual baton to all of you. Know that you are needed. You are beautifully made, and importantly, you are designed with your unique strengths and talents to make a difference in this world. Congratulations. You deserve it.
Thank you, Dr. Erica Buchanan Riviera, for that very timely and powerful message to the class of 2020. It is now my distinct honor to introduce the 2020 commencement speaker, Dr. Mickey L. Burnham. Dr. Mickey L. Burnham is the interim president of Coppin State University. Dr. Burnham served as president of Bowie State University between 2006 and 2017. Dr. Byrne also served as interim president of the University of Maryland Eastern Shore during the summer of 2018. During Dr. Burnham's 11 years as president, Bowie State experienced significant increases on a national level. Dr. Byrne previously served as chancellor of Elizabeth City State University, an historical black university in North Carolina. He earned his bachelor's and master's degree from the University of North Texas and PhD in economics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. Graduation from college is a very significant milestone. Some of you are the first in your family to go to college and to graduate. For all of you, it represents a focused and sustained effort. For most, 4 years, but for a few, it has been over decades. Yes, indeed, you have great reason to celebrate, and I'm delighted to share in your celebration. Let me note right up front that this commencement celebration is special. It's special, of course, because it's yours. That fact, the fact that your achievement has resulted from your personal goal setting, from your self-discipline and perseverance, also makes it special. And on a more somber note, this graduation celebration is special because it is taking place in the midst of a global pandemic. COVID-19 has already taken thousands of lives across the world and has sickened many thousands more. It forced us to move very quickly from face-to-face instruction in classrooms, on campuses, to solely distance learning. Yes, it has forced a social distancing reality on us that has given us greater significance, much greater significance to this virtual graduation celebration. Yes, the COVID-19 pandemic is something that we must go through, but we can take comfort in knowing that we will get through it. We can look forward to a brighter day. Graduation from college is also special because it is very likely to mean a significant economic payoff. You have spent time and money and energy working to earn this degree, and you can reasonably expect to receive a return on this personal investment. College graduates, on the average, can expect to earn $1 million more than persons who only graduated from high school during the course of their working lives. Additionally, I note from a recent article in the Washington Post newspaper that workers without any college education are losing their jobs during this pandemic at about 4 times the rate as those who have graduated from college. Yes, the economic benefits to a college education are very important, but I note that there are significant non-economic benefits as well. College graduates, for the most part, make for more civilized and caring communities and greater participation in civic life. College graduates tend to contribute more to the public good than those with lesser educational achievements. Now, for the next few minutes, I want to share with you, the graduates of 2020, 3 of the most important lessons that I have learned in life. First lesson, from my dad, I learned to think ahead, to plan. He was always thinking about what he wanted to accomplish and what he needed to do to accomplish it. Examples: he began to invest in tax-sheltered annuities very early in his career in preparation for his retirement. And as a result, my 93-year-old mother is still reaping the benefits of that investment. Another example, as a basketball coach, he developed game plans for his basketball team's opponents and had a very successful win-loss record over his career. My own plan was to work for a while and then go to graduate school to pursue a PhD in economics. What is your plan? I can't tell you what it should be. That's for you to decide. What I can tell you, however, is that it should be a plan that provides a chance for you to have a life of significance. Second lesson. As a schoolboy, I learned again from my dad the value of always striving for perfection. I can remember sharing with him exuberantly one day the fact that I had scored the highest grade on a math test. Instead of sharing in my exuberance, Dad focused on the fact that I had gotten one or two of the problems wrong. He didn't want me to be satisfied with just getting the highest score, but to always strive to do whatever I could to be the very best and to fully utilize my ability. Since I didn't know the limits of my ability, that meant always striving for perfection as I understood it. Third lesson, that one of life's most significant opportunities for personal growth is likely to come through failure experiences. Think about these people. Michael Jordan, thought by many to be the greatest basketball player of all time. He was not selected for varsity during tryouts for his high school team during his sophomore year. Out of that failure, he worked even harder to be ready to make the team the following year, and look what happened. Henry Ford, founder of what we know today as the Ford Motor Company. Ford failed at 2 attempts to build a successful automobile company before he succeeded with Ford Motor Company. Third example, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey, the undisputed queen of talk television, was fired from her television anchor job in Baltimore, Maryland, because she was, quote, unfit for TV. These failures all precipitated huge successes. Now let me share with you a bit of my personal story. I had always been a good student. I had been a high achiever in whatever I had attempted. And following my dream after college graduation, I went off to the University of Wisconsin in Madison to pursue a Doctor of Philosophy degree in economics. I was sure of myself and a bit arrogant until I encountered the preliminary examination at the end of the first year of that graduate program. As one who was always gifted and who always worked hard, I had never failed anything before in my life. But here I was, I had failed that preliminary examination. My reaction, as it had always been, was to redouble my effort, to work harder. If it was a matter of hard work, then no one would outwork me and I would succeed. So I retook that preliminary examination at the end of the second year. My second failure was simply devastating. It was numbing. It was dream-shattering. My world was severely rocked. I was crushed. What would I do to take care of my family? What could I do? I had to question who I was at the core. Who could I call upon? What did I believe? Where would I get the answers and the strength that I needed? I had run out of options. I had done all that I could do. And at that point, I realized that there was one more action that I personally could take. I could turn my problems over to God in prayer. That was a significant turning point in my life and led directly to the path that has put me here before you today. I went on to become the fourth person in my cohort of 45 graduate students to defend my dissertation, and went on to have a 44-year career in higher education, having led 4 different universities and having been honored with the titles Chancellor Emeritus and President Emeritus. I had set for myself and was pursuing a very high goal, earning a PhD in economics from one of the best universities and one of the best economics programs in the country. I had done all that I thought I could to achieve that goal, and had run into seemingly an insurmountable wall. I reached a point where I had to ask myself who I was and where I could find the strength that I needed to carry on. If you haven't already, you will reach a point like that too. You will be forced to come face to face with who you are and what you believe. When it does happen, I hope that you will find the right answers for you to help you persevere and to overcome. In conclusion, remember first, the first lesson, have a plan and work that plan. The second lesson, always strive to do your very best, for someone is always watching you, and you will be serving as a role model, whether you know it or not. And third, the third lesson, prepare yourself to use your failures as launch pads for new opportunities. Class of 2020, your timing is propitious. You're graduating like the biblical character Esther for just such a time as this. Now, perhaps more than ever, the world needs intelligent people who care about others and who are willing to give of themselves to make the world better. Congratulations. Now go forward and make a difference. Thank you.
Dr. Becky L. Barham, thank you for providing such an important message to the class of 2020. Your words are surely going to echo in the ears of those who heard your message tonight. To the class of 2020, the first day of school was the beginning of years of daily experiences. Your journey is simultaneously intertwined. As you let go of control, please commit to staying positive and reflect upon your humbling experiences and beginnings. Once you reach the end of what you should know, remember you are only beginning to make sense of what you already know. Remember, life's journey is never ending. Farewell, class of 2020. Your host, Dr. Keisha Walton.